Hello and welcome. Hello. Hello. Today is Tuesday. I know you might not expect it to see me, but I decided to, instead of recording the video and posting it, I decided to do live. Today we're going to talk about root chakra. Root, the energy center that connects us to this material world. Now, as maybe some of you know, some of you don't, I'm a Reiki master, so I worked and studied energy for many years. I started with energy long time ago. Then I added NLP. I'm an NLP master. Then I added systemic approach. I did added tantra as well. I love tantra very much now, but energy is the foundation and the core for all of this. That's why um, I I enjoy talking about energy. No matter what you do, no matter how often you change your mindset, it is all energy. And maybe I'm so inspired to talk about energy because we're energetic beings, so to say. We're we're made of energy and information, and whether you want it or not, I mean, you have to admit that energy is important, and the more you study it, the easier it is for you. I wouldn't lie to you, at some point I became like really crazy about energy. I wanted to, since I have so much power and I can control it, I wanted to almost to take over the world. I thought that it would be much easier for me to control the world than to control my own energy. Unfortunately for me, at that moment, I didn't realize that the world is just a reflection of me, and all I needed to do is to start controlling myself and being able to manipulate my own energy for me to be successful. So today, whether you're into kind of this topic or not, I mean, if you want to be successful and wealthy in life, you will have to learn somewhat about your energy centers. Now, I have 4 videos about energy. I'm not going to get into details, but just for kind of for clear understanding, we have an aura. Everybody has. It's just it's a normal thing, and you can see it. If you will train yourself enough, you will be able to see people's aura, like I do. I mean, I don't do it all the time, but I easily can. I can also connect to the higher self of the person. That's what I do, and I do energy alignments, and I can influence somebody else's energy with my energy and with energy from outside. But you can see energy of a person. It's not something that somebody made up. It's actually a real thing, and a lot of people see it, and kids see it even without even trying it. It's because they don't have particular patterns in their head, and they are able to see. So we all have an energy body around us, our aura, and that energy body is consists of layers. Every layer corresponds to the energy center inside of us, chakras they call them. Now, why do we need this energy centers? Is because we're made of energy, and energy could not be just chaotic all over the place. It has to be somewhat structured, and these energy centers, they structure the energy within us. Now, root chakra is the only chakra that doesn't have a corresponding energy field. Why? Because the corresponding field for the root chakra is our physical body. So I can basically look at the person, at the body of the person, and I can already tell how healthy the chakra is, the energy center root is, how whether it's developed, overdeveloped, underdeveloped, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. So it is easy like that, and if you will learn some of this information, you will be able to say it too. Like it's not hard really to read the person and the physical body. You don't even need to connect to read the energetic bodies, because on this energy center, everything is basically in front of you. So this is the only center that has a physical body. Now, if you have health issues all the time, then you probably have some issues with your root chakra. Root chakra is basically energy center that connects us to the material world. Without it, we will be just a consciousness in the space of energy. So we would not be able to experience life without being connected to the physical world. And the weaker your root chakra is, the weaker your connection. And at one point, basically, persons, well, there's really a lot of but the easiest way to exit this existence is basically have completely weak root chakra, and that's it. It's basically you don't want to be connected to the material world. All right, so we made it clear. Now, I named this life root chakra your portal to wealth, your gate to wealth, and this is not a surprise. When I started working with energy, I remember this was like my hook. Somebody told me you can become really wealthy if you work on your root chakra, and I'm like, that's it. I don't need any other any other energy center. I will only work on my root. Like that was my and I put a lot of effort into it, but I didn't know the specifics. I mean, I was putting a lot of focus and effort into my root chakra, and at the end, I mean, I was not getting wealthy. I was just getting more anxious about my wealth, and I couldn't understand what was happening because I'm putting the work where the results are. And the only when I had a mentor that was only mentoring me on energy, nothing else, and she obviously explained to me how it works. Now, you can I'm not going to give you the basic stuff because you can read about it. It's not that important, but just in a couple of words, root chakra is your first energy center. It's located in your tailbone. Tailbone. So in that area, the color of that energy center is red. So if you want to feel it, you can just imagine a little red ball of light in your tailbone. That's how you can feel it very easily. Now, if you could not feel it, then this is an issue. That means that your root is not very responsive, so to say. Now, it's also called Muladhara. You probably heard it, but it's not as important how you call it. The important thing is how you feel it and whether you feel it and whether you work with it or not. Now, why didn't I become super wealthy right away? I will tell you. So these days, a lot of people have a root energy center underdeveloped. Why? Because we're not as connected to the earth as we used to be before. Like me right now, I'm on the fifth floor, I think. I'm not close to the earth. In Miami, I live on the 11th floor. I'm always staying in some kind of high rises, so it's hard for me to connect to earth when I'm so above the ground. Now, uh, a couple centuries ago, people used to live on the ground. They used to live in the small houses, and they were always connected to the world. Most of them had some kind of garden, or at least they had a park where they can walk or something like that. So they would spend a lot of time on the ground. They were connected to the ground. Now we spend a lot of time above, way above the ground. So our connection to Earth is not as strong. That helps us to be somewhat detached and, so to say, delusional and maybe dreaming big. So we're closer to energy of air, but it makes us very insecure and anxious about our physical presentation right now. So um, again, why couldn't I become wealthy? So, a couple centuries ago, a person, let's say I'm a restaurant owner, and chances are my kids will be restaurant owners too. Why? Because this is their comfort zone. They only know this, and they have an example in me as a restaurant owner. They would probably will not become some kind of aristocrats because they, this is their comfort zone. So why didn't I become wealthy? Because I was grounded in my standards. Not I was not even that grounded. My standards were not expanding, and I was not grounding the expansion that I had in my life. So, for example, when I bought myself an expensive handbag, really expensive, I didn't ground that feeling. In my mind, it was one of kind of like it's not a normal thing to happen. It just happened once, and fortune for me, and maybe it will happen again, maybe not, like that. You see, so I have a particular standards like everybody else, but I didn't expand those standards. So what does root chakra does for us? It ties us to the material world, to the physical world that we're living in. And for us not to go crazy and not to go insane, it ties us with the particular standards. What are those standards? These are the standards that are given by our family. So I was born in a middle class family. I think at that time it was like that. So I'm used to have a nice place to live, good food. I mean, some money to for this and that. But that's basically my standards. Now, will I live in a mansion? Well, right now my standards are not up for a mansion. Like my mind doesn't even capture that idea. Like, why would I live in a mansion for what? So everybody will want to come and be my guest. I mean, what to do in that huge building? Now, if I would be born in some kind of family that is extremely wealthy, maybe my standards would be different. Now, how to change this? Why I didn't become wealthy? Because I didn't ground the expansion that I was doing in my life. So when I went to buy an extremely expensive bag, I should have ground that feeling. When I went on a very luxurious vacation, I should have grounded that feeling and expand um, my root chakra. And the more I would expand it, the more it would become a standard. That's why people two centuries ago they couldn't have escaped their kind of their social standing because they didn't have an ability to expand. And obviously when they don't expand they have nothing to ground in their body. Nowadays we have, obviously everybody can be can treat himself or herself as a millionaire for a couple days, right? I mean, I think anybody can experience what everybody what the upper class kind of experiences. I mean, everybody can go, can rent himself a huge yacht, or maybe go on a luxurious vacation, or uh, buy a kilogram of black caviar or something. So it's not as hard nowadays. Now, but why people don't become wealthy is because they don't ground the expansion that they experience. You see, I mean, I don't like caviar, but let's imagine I'm such a culture where caviar is like a normal thing. But let's imagine I bought 100 grams of black caviar and I'm eating it. If I would ground that feeling of, look, I'm so fancy now, I'm eating caviar, not just any caviar, but black caviar, I would feel like my standards would expand and ground. Now, you would say, well, couldn't you just expand without grounding? Yes, you can, but those will not become your standards. It will be one off. That's exactly what I said. That's why very often energy of air, energy of fire, very masculine energies, they get the money, but they don't become wealthy because the money comes and goes. Well, energy of fire doesn't really, unless they make it their goal, they don't really even care for money that much. But energy of fire gets money very often and very in a large amounts, but it's just slipping through their fingers because they don't ground the feeling. So it's like money come, money like it's never stopped me, never stopped me. And then they asking how come like I'm receiving so much money, and and it just never enough, and it never stays with me. And I know, because I know man energy of fire, I know them, and I know that they do receive, and I know they suffer. I even had clients energy of fire. I would convince them to do the investments, and 2 weeks after they're coming, they're like, I need to pull out the cash because I have this project I need to do, I need to buy this, I need to buy that. So money will not stay with them unless they will ground feeling. Now, if you think that if you ground the feeling, money will be just sitting with them, no, they will not. They will actually, you will still be receiving, but some of it will be staying according to your new standards. Now, it's not all good and peachy like this. There are people who have a very good, very high standards, very active root chakra. but they're still suffering. They're not happy in life. Why? So underwork, underdeveloped root chakra gives you anxiety, problems with security, a weakness, like you feel like very unconfident. You feel like there is like you are afraid that you might not have enough or something. So usually these are feelings. Look, I'm going to give me a second. Open it here. Usually these are feelings of worry. So if you are worried constantly, if you never feel confident, no matter how much you make, if you're always afraid to lose your job or to lose income, this is actually underdeveloped root chakra. Um, like also, and I had it. I had it in me for some time, even when I was making really good money, and I started having a savings account, and plus I had investment account. I still would always, I would wake up and like with a panic attack, like what if all the money just disappear? Like I would have such nightmares, like what if the banking system will collapse? I mean, like this was my worry at that time, and this is underactive root chakra, underdeveloped. Now overactive, overdeveloped root chakra is usually happens in people energy of earth, and at that moment they become super controlling. They want to control everything and everybody around them. They become obsessed with materialism. um, they they just collect everything. They don't spend. If they spend, they spend on um, they spend on stuff that they can use forever. They don't throw out anything, so they're like really obsessed with material stuff. It's impossible for them to move. They don't want to change anything. I mean, this is just some kind of hoarders. I don't know who these people are. They receive money, but this is like their obsession. It's not a healthy feeling to have. So see which category you are in, and I will tell you those people that are like this with overactive root chakra. They usually block their money from coming in because they put in so much energetic pressure on that chakra. How so This is how you're supposed to feel with the good active balanced root energetic center. You're supposed to be relaxed. So imagine that in your root, in your tailbone, there is a ball of red light. Imagine how your butt area just fills up with warm energy. Breathe in through that through your tailbone and breathe out. Your All that area has to be relaxed. If your buttocks are squeezed like this, if they're tensed, that means that your root chakra is not where it's supposed to be. It has to be relaxed. You have to be constantly relaxed to be in control of your life. This is actually for every energy center, but today we're speaking about this particular center. If you ever, so you're supposed to be completely relaxed when you are sitting or laying, even when you're standing. Now, completely relaxed, and the back of your legs should be like you should almost feel them. They should be filled with pleasure. The back of your legs, the backs, not the other parts, just the back of your legs. Especially if you're a woman. I will give you a second to kind of to check on yourself. I was surprised when I started working with energy that my area, that whole area, was always very squeezed. Always, when I was sitting, laying, sleeping, I would wake up and I'm already squeezed. Like I was always tense. There was no relaxation. I mean, there were periods of relaxations, obviously, but for the most part, I was very tense. And that's not a surprise because, you know, it just it's just not a surprise. I'm manager of water, and this is one of the areas that I constantly work on, and that's just how it is. Now, a root energy center is dominant in men. It's a masculine uh, masculinity driven chakra. So these are so what does the root chakra responsible for our security, for our well-being, for our physical needs, to ensure our survival. So it's not for the diamond rings. It is for the food, the health, our living conditions, like that. So something that will secure our well-being. And again, it will be according to your standards. So if my standards are to eat potatoes 3 times a day and live in a small room, this is what my root chakra will provide for me. Now, if my standard is to eat out 3 times a day and live in a healthy kind of apartment for one person, then this is where I'm going to be. And this is how what your root chakra will provide. Now, why did I say that it's masculinity driven? Because it's usually men who provide care, who provide security, who provide food, care for to the loved ones in their life. So if you are right now a man in your family and you do have a man, then you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be. The only time when you should be providing for something of somebody is you yourself, and maybe your children till their age of 18. That's it. Nobody else. Not your parents, definitely not your man, definitely not everybody else around you. It's only for yourself. Only if you don't have a man. If you don't have a man and he doesn't provide, then there is an issue. It's either you don't trust him that he can provide, or you don't believe that he's strong enough to provide, or you don't believe that you deserve to provide. This is already heart chakra, but it's okay. What I want to say is that these are man. This chakra is dominant in man, not in woman, but um, it has to be developed in both. So it has to be seriously developed in man and woman. And usually the development comes from the childhood, from our parents, usually from our father, or overall family. I mean, um, ideally, you should grow up and know that you are that the life kind of will provide for you, that you will be provided. And as I said, 2 centuries ago, everybody knew that. If somebody's father works on the field, they know, okay, at least I can work on the field. I will be fine with that. Now, this is not enough in our generation. We obviously want much more than our parents have. Or I'm not sure. Well, if your parents are very wealthy, maybe you want to have at least what they have. So I wouldn't ask you to be satisfied with your standards. You need to expand, but you need to know that at least the basic will be covered. Don't stop at the ceiling of what your root chakra is allowing you, but also don't be satisfied with just the bottom of what it could be. So, for example, I already told you um, I had schoolmates, right? So I went with some kids to school, in elementary school, and a lot of them are still in the same place where their parents were, and they're pretty satisfied, and it's okay with them. You see, they didn't expand, or maybe when they've expanded, they were actually expanded because they were all starting in the city somewhere, but they didn't ground the expansion, and they were okay with being where their ancestors are kind. There's nothing wrong with that. What I want to say, if you want to become wealthy, you can become wealthy. But I'm explaining why some people don't become wealthy, even working with their root chakra. So, ideally, this is how it should be. I should feel completely confident and comfortable at the level where I am, where my family is. Then I should expand myself, ground the feeling of expansion within me, and kind of um, become wealthier than my parents, become better off than my family. And then my children will do the same if everything goes according to the plan. I mean, it doesn't often goes according to the plan, and people sometimes even revert in their development. Now, ideally, as I said, we should expand our root chakra. Very sometimes people shrink their root chakra. And like maybe at least I know in my life I met people like this. They were wealthy at one point, and then they kind of revert back and became very unwealthy. But I do have these examples, and why was it? Is because they couldn't ground the wealthiness, and when their energy with age became smaller, they were not able to hold on to that level. So they basically um, they expanded backwards, so to say, and they grounded the expansion backwards. So I hope it makes sense. You must understand the energy center is like a muscle. You can work on your muscles and make them bigger, or you can completely give up on them, and then they will just become they will just disappear. It's just the same thing. Energy is the same thing as muscle. So you either work on it and expand, or you give up on your energy. Well, you can let somebody like me work on your energy again, but I'm working, talking about that energy alignment starts on Thursday. I only work for a period of time, so it's only a week. I mean, I don't know what you're doing over there for the rest of the month. um, or you can just give up and reap the fruits of your not doing nothing. Now, what to do, how to become wealthy, right? So this is what you will do. So look, I don't want you to focus on just wealth, right? Because root chakra is so much more than just money, and for many people, money is not. I mean, it's just a means to a particular lifestyle, but it's also your security. I mean, you don't want to be constantly anxious and worried, right? Um, there is just no there's no point in that. You need to live. You need to experience life, and the more you experience life, the more you can give to the world around you. But if you don't feel secure, how are you going to do it? It's Security is must. It's extremely important, extremely important chakra. I even tell my clients, I don't allow them to even work on other chakras unless they know how to ground themselves and how to keep the strong um, first chakra, root chakra. It is important. But you can become wealthy as well. I will tell you what I did. So this is what you will do. I'll give you a little more information after, but this is what you will do. You need to expand yourself and ground the feeling. For example, you go into a nice place. I don't know. You go into a restaurant that you always wanted to, but you felt a little uncomfortable. Maybe you didn't feel very deserving or something like that. Maybe you felt like will be out of place, or maybe you felt like, I don't know what you can feel, but you need to go to that place. You could not go and be squeezed like coal. You need to relax. So at one point in that place, you have to relax. You have to breathe. You see, your physical body corresponds to your root center. You could not let your this field to shrink. You need to expand it. Okay, so you come into, let's say, a restaurant. You're sitting there, and you were nervous at first. I mean, that's understandable, but you are there, and you need to kind of start giving yourself the little, maybe even even talk, right? So you tell yourself, look, Anastasia, everything is good. I mean, I can come here. There's nothing wrong with being here. I mean, the restaurant is amazing. The service is perfect. I'm just in place. I can, with the little work, I can come here all the time. Now, the more you speak to yourself, the more you convince yourself. It's like you're talking to a little child that is afraid to go play on a playground. You are basically just the same thing. So once you feel a little more comfortable, you probably had a drink or something, and you loosen up a little bit, and this is where you ground the feeling. So you need to take all this energy, all this expansion, and you need to, with that. So you breathe in, you breathe out, and you send all that energy to your tailbone. You allow it to ground in the tailbone. You need to make sure when you do that, your tailbone area, your butt, and the backs of your if your legs are relaxed and kind of receptive. If you sit in the on edge like this and you all squeezed, you wouldn't be able to ground. If it's hard for you to ground in that moment, you can come home and on the comfort of your own couch, you can sit and and feel like, I did it. Good job. I went to this fancy place and I was able um, to eat and drink and nothing happened. Um, and you can kind of you can remember the feelings that you had. You need to remember how you enjoyed the time while being there, how you felt like maybe butterflies, maybe you felt a little nervous but then excited at the same. You need to relieve that feeling and then ground it. So once you kind of have all this feeling, then you deep breath in, and with the breathing out you're basically sending um, this expansion into tailbone. Again, if you will allow it to linger in your body, it will be like unattached. You need to attach it to something. And this is the easiest way. Relaxing the gut helps me relax, tells the universe I'm at rest, at peace. Yes, that's too. We will get to that next time, next Tuesday, for the pleasure chakra. But you could not really relax if if you don't feel secure. So if you will relax your butt area and your legs, you will feel even more secure. You would feel like grounded to them to the earth. So this is what happened to me. I basically start accepting that this is normal. Anything that was not that was unusual in my life, I would ground like this. Otherwise, it would come and go. The first time, that I make candles. Right now, I don't because I'm traveling. But the first time I got somebody ordering candle from me. I mean, I knew the candle is a good price. I knew that that it's really working. I knew because I was already making them and giving them for free. But I also knew I could not be continuing giving them for free because they cost a lot. They have stones, they have beeswax. I mean, so the first time somebody ordered the candle and paid for it, I didn't ground that feeling. It was money that were coming from something, not from my corporate work, but from um, something that I'm doing. And for me, it was shocking. Like nobody in my family is producing something and getting money from it. Like we're not merchants. We're intellectuals in our family that work for a corporate and getting salary. And obviously, this is kind of wrong mentality, but this is how I was brought up. So the first time somebody paid me for something that I did, I was shocked. I was nervous. I had butterflies. I was like all over the place, but I didn't ground because for me it was very unusual and not my standard. So what happened to me? I didn't receive an order for maybe the next like 2-3 months, which was strange because there were a lot of interested people, but everybody was like, "Well, let me see, maybe in a month or so." And I was like, "Okay, something is off. Something is not working." So I still was working with my mentor, and I told him like what is happening. She said, "You didn't ground the feeling." And that feeling was so overwhelming for you that your mind is basically pushing it away. So what I did, I sat on my couch and I basically that situation and I received the order. I explained how so much I received the help, you know, it was so funny. And, the next day, so I did it in the evening. I used it and the evening I had like a routine, and after that I would just breathe. I would be lemon tea or something. And next morning I got a message from one of the girls, and she's like, "Hey, I think I'm ready to have a plan." She told me it was so late. Feeling the it happened to me. And so like half a year after I at one point I received like 8 orders for the candles. And look, if you know me, you know I don't make candles all the time. I make them particular days, and they're all handmade. So I could. It's not like a container. I could not make 1,000 of them. And at one point I decided maybe it would be too much. What if somebody orders more, and then I wouldn't be able to do them and charge them all in one, like in the right, like in the time. And again, my production, my orders slowed down again. So this is basically it was all my fault, so to say. It was up to me how much I'm supposed to produce, and whether I should produce or not. Uh, you see, even at that moment, I still believe that I have to give something, that I can't be just receiving money for nothing. Now, as I was expanding, I started understanding that I don't really need it, because I can do something else. Like I have 2 courses, and I can just sell them and receive money. So again, it took some time. Why? Because my standards was so different. I'm from a different kind of family. My family is a working class family. There's no it's always brought down standards. My comfort zone is standard. So it takes me some time to expand. If you have a lot of air in you, you can expand much faster. Also, if you were brought up in a family that may be wealthier, and then you decide not to be wealthy, like I met this guy, he's Italian, and he praised himself in being this kind of poor scientist, so to say. So he's all into science. He's spending all his savings, all his he praises himself that he lives with whole home, that he doesn't spend money, that he doesn't need money. Like, I'm like, what's with this guy? So I asked him, but he's not worried, he's not like, he's absolutely okay with what he has. And I'm like, are you from a rich family? He's like, yes, I am. His father was an ambassador, Italian ambassador in some country. uh, Now I understand. So a couple of years after, I guess, all this gypsy nomad kind of style got to him, and he he did something online. So I don't know if it's a program or science program. So he did something and he sold it for a lot of money. Right now, he's still praising himself that he doesn't care about money, but he has a lot of money. So the point is that it's easier for you to expand if you had the right standards from childhood. So this is for people who didn't have the right the wealthy standards in childhood. They would need to expand on their own. But if you're already expanding, might as well ground. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Let me see whether I covered everything. So, how do you develop root chakra besides expanding? This is like um, you see, you must understand with the root chakra, it's not like you're going to be getting millions right away. This is your solar plexus chakra. This is the one that will bring you millions right away. With the root chakra, you sound slow, but once you expand it, you stay on that level. It's like never ends. You like you expand, you ground, expand, ground again. This is something that will not leave you. You see, if at one point you were living with $3,000 a month, and then you kind of expand yourself to $5,000 a month, you will be staying on that level for again and again and again for a long time. You see, with the solar plexus, you can attract $1 million, then you can lose it. You see, like me, I wrote over here. Some people, like lottery winners, like a bright example. Some people do win lottery, so get unexpected money, and I did too myself. And a lot of them are losing. I mean, I didn't want millions, but a lot of people are losing the money that came in. Why? Because they don't ground the new feeling. It's not uncomfortable for them, and because it's such a huge amount, they get overwhelmed. The mind thinks it's a threat, and the mind pushes the money away. But if they would ground the feeling, they could have multiplied those millions into billions, I guess. And this is what happens. So you don't become wealthy fast on the root chakra, but it's it's okay. But it's a good it's a consistent expand. So you see, the more you expand, um, in 10 years you're wealthy. It's a good practice. And why I always say that you need to work with all your energy is because you see, you don't want to wait 10 years to become wealthy. You want to become wealthy fast, right? That's why you need to work on all the chakras. But today we're talking about root chakra. Now, you can observe people energy of earth. This is so the root chakra is the energy of earth, and you can see people energy of earth. With the consistency and determination, they become wealthy. um, like by the time they're soon they're in their 40s, 50s, I mean, they're super wealthy. They have their savings, they have their investments, they have their houses. And this is basically, they don't aim to become wealthy fast, they aim to become wealthy at one point. Again, I don't know whether this is the right approach, because we don't need to wait 30 years to become to have money and to receive money um, in a different ways that what we're used to. Okay, let me see what the cover is. So, how do you, besides grounding the new feeling and new expansion, what else do you need to do to even have active energy? You need to make sure that you ground yourself. You need to walk. And walking should be not on the fifth floor in your apartment, but it should be on the ground. Even if you're on shoes, if you're just walking, it's still grounded. You're connecting to the electromagnetic field of the earth. So the more you can spend time walking, better it is. Ideally, it would be if you would walk somewhere in nature, like a park, or somehow there's not that many people and not too much buildings and traffic. So somewhere like by the river, in the nature. If you on the weekends can spare like a couple hours somewhere um, in nature like that. So this is the first thing. Ideally would be if you would walk barefoot, but I mean I know it's fall and not everybody is going to walk barefoot on the frozen earth. But this is ideal. I don't do to walk on the beach, in the park, on the grass, somewhere like that. Or you have to walk at the stand for like 5 minutes and just stand. Don't do nothing. And the earth will do everything. What else you can do? You can do sports like yoga, good for the first term. You can also meditate down, really good. Meditation that is coming out from the core, those objects and ways that center of the earth. Immediately, like a mushroom living on the roof. Would help you somewhat connect yourself and feel grounded, especially for people that have a lot of energy of air. For them, energy of earth is opposite energy, so it's hard for them to ground, and it's very uncomfortable. You see, energy of air is all this. They have visions, they have optimism, they have this, ideas, and now somebody's telling them, "Hey, ground yourself to the physical world you're in," and they're lost. Like, why am I supposed to do that? Um, um, and what else you do? You should create a sense of security around you. So, for example, you can have. So you need to have a corner that will be very secure. So you can buy an armchair for yourself and just put it in the corner, like put a little table next to it, and this will be your security corner, kind of like that. Security doesn't have to be a savings account or anything. For some people, it's just basically a place to sit and breathe. Not couldn't doesn't need to be something extraordinary. If you can buy yourself an apartment, that would be ideal. It would be your security. So the more you ideally you need to create security inside, but you can help with security outside to create security inside. So the more you maybe you'll buy yourself You will open yourself an IRA, you'll buy yourself an apartment, and you already feel secured. Why? Because you have an outside security that you created for yourself. You start attracting men that provide security for you, and it just basically building up on and on. But if you want to become wealthy that you are right now, you need to expand and ground the feeling. You would not be able to become wealthy than you are if you would not ground the feeling of the new reality. Um, Let me see. If you are a woman and you don't have developed first chakra, your root chakra, chances are you will have a man that will be insecure in the, like, he will be anxious about the world around him. Or if you attract a man that is wealthy, he will start losing his money or start having problems. That was the case with me and with a couple more people I knew. So basically, I always was attracting men. I mean, I'm highly feminine, so men do come to me. Um, but after a while, because I was so insecure and so afraid and so scared, I would influence them, and they would start having issues in their businesses, in their with finances and something like that. So if your man could not provide you the basics and you started dating a wealthy man, then the problem is not in him. The problem is in you. Either you, like for example, if he is not giving you, then you don't feel you are deserving. That's heart chakra. We'll talk about that. But if he could not, if he suddenly has a whole bunch of problems, then it's your root chakra. Okay, so this I did this. I did. Imagine if meditating and imagine is hard for you, just imagine that there is like a red light in your tailbone. Also, every energy center responds to um, particular health issues. So if you have issues with adrenal glands, that's a weak root. So ideally, with the strong first chakra, you should feel very secure in the world. You should feel very confident about the world, not about yourself, about the world around you. You should feel like you have a place, and that place is untouchable. You should feel like you come into to um, let's say to a restaurant and you're going there, you're not afraid. What if they don't have a table for me? What if they will make me wait? What if they won't allow me in? You go into a restaurant and you know, okay, there will be a table, I will sit. Like, you wouldn't even have these ideas in your head. So this is how you should feel about your life. You feel very secure and stable in life. Maybe you are not catching kind of pink um, something some kind of ideas that might come or might not come. Maybe you're not delusional, but at least you know that at this point in this life, you will be okay. You see, like if you know people energy first, you know how they think. They always this is I mean, if this doesn't work, then I will just get a job and I will be okay. Like, they always know that they will be fine and where they are. Now, you need to feel like this. This is the list of how you should feel with your active root chakra. Another thing I didn't tell you, you can just breathe through it. So imagine air comes in through your tailbone and goes out through your tailbone like this. So the more you pay attention to this, the more you keep energy there, and the more it will be activated. Don't tense yourself. Never squeeze yourself nowhere. Okay, I have like a whole bunch of everything you wrote here. I'm not going to go through all this. Um, oh, there also the affirmation I am. This is for the root chakra. So anytime you want to ground yourself, you basically tell I am. Now, second chakra is I feel, but I am is basically you're grounding to the present moment of whatever you want to be. So if you are wealthy, I am wealthy. Again, according to your standard right now. So if you are repeating only I am wealthy, you will be wealthy according to your standards. If you want to bring a lot of money into your life, you shouldn't be saying I am wealthy. You should be saying I attract wealth, or yeah, like this. Or if you want the unexpected wealth coming in, you should say I deserve wealth on the heart chakra. But when you say I am wealth, it's basically it's enough for your standards right now. That's why I am statements, affirmations sometimes interesting. Or also you can work with stones, so you can wear more stones, like me. I have garnets here. You see, I put them especially on, but it could be red jasper. So the stones that are very dark, dark red, dark black, these are all the stones for the root chakra. If you are into the stones, you can also do what you can do. You can basically carry them with you. You can hold them in your hands. You can meditate with them. You don't need to put it in anywhere. You can put it under, well, I wouldn't put it under the pillow, but maybe close to you, somewhere in bed. The crystals, if you want also to ground yourself, eat heavy food. Ideally, it would be like potatoes, beets, meat, red meat. So something that really grounds you, really like heavy like that. This is to keep you. This is more for people that have a lot of masculine energy and they're like all over the place. If you don't have much masculine energy, you probably don't even need this. What you need to is though expand your root and feel good about the expansion. So don't feel nervous about expansion. Feel good. Okay, I think that's it. If you have questions, do ask. I also want to, yeah, I think that's it. I also want to mention, look, wealth is a mindset, right? Abundance is a mindset. But our root chakra corresponds to our physical body. And if um, thoughts about wealth are threatening, so to say, if we become nervous, not excited but nervous, then chances are your mind will do everything to push that wealth away from you, and you wouldn't want that, obviously, right? Because you want to be to become wealthy. So you need to allow your body and allow your root chakra to ground the feeling of what you want to have. That's why younger people are easier to change, are easier to adapt new styles, because their energy is more flexible. Because their energy is so flexible, they can adapt anything. You can be a blogger. Okay, fine, I will be a blogger. They don't think twice. Nothing is threatening to them. And you will think, well, why would my mind think that wealth would be threatening? Because it is unknown. Like me, I was born in a middle class family. I don't even know how it is to be like super super wealthy. I mean, who knows what is over there? So my body maybe was protecting me from that unknown. It's not only about money, it's about everything else. It just root chakra is associated with wealth, with security, but it's with everything else. Some people never have relationship because of that fear. They feel so secure at where they are. Who knows what it will be if you get in a relationship with the guy? But it's you see, it's up to us to expand to a particular point. And again, um, some people have strong energies, bigger energy fields. Some have smaller energy and smaller energy fields. Some can expand a lot and some can expand not so much, and it is normal. But at least expand to what is your capacity, and only you know what your capacity is. If you are never dreaming um, about Monte Carlo, then maybe it's not what you need. So then maybe you don't need to expand that far. But if you believe that you're supposed to be over there in the casino gambling, I mean, then it is possible for you to expand. You see, I want to tell you, I met people from around the world, and this is interesting how some people are taking over the world and do that. And as long as they can offer my needs, and I'm so happy. You see, so but if you have the desire to expand, you should expand. It wouldn't come to your mind. I'm telling you, it wouldn't. I'm telling you, as a person who also has expansions, who also has like desires to expand. And at one point, I was contemplating this thought about maybe it shouldn't be expanding. What's the point? This and this, but you should. You should. I mean, if I have the thought of expanding, I should expand. Otherwise, I'm just wasting my presence in this existence. All right, that's it. I do hope I motivated you, and I hope I gave you the right tools to expand and to grow feelings. I do expect you all to become well in no time. Let me know if you have any questions. Next, we'll talk about the pleasure chakra, the sacral chakra. And I want to tell you, without your root being developed, it's very hard to become super feminine. Why? Because you don't feel secure. How can you feel pleasure if you don't feel secure? So do work on this chakra, pay attention to it more, make sure you relax, make sure you breathe through, and we'll talk about that on next Thursday. But Thursday we will discuss do it very fast. So somebody asked the question was, I don't understand what is the there's the order and what is the difference. So in 2 words, energy is like feminine energy, like an egg. What is the formula? Always wants to do some kind of action. You do a lot of action to get to the point. Need to basically outsmart others and be physically fit and fast and kind of very active to to get to the result that it wants to get. Right? What does the egg does? The egg basically satisfied with where the egg is, knows, so an absolute trust of what's happening around. If the sperm will come, it doesn't, it doesn't. It's like this. The egg makes itself available, and it's open to meeting with the sperm, right? But it's okay. I mean, the egg is not going to run and chase and look for the sperm. It will give the some kind of, but it won't be chasing the sperm. So in the real world, femininity, masculinity is much the same. If you're feminine, you're happy where you are, you're secure about where you are, you know that everything will work out, you know that you're enjoying your life and you just continue living your life. And if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you know that it will happen at one point. Now, if you are highly masculine, you always want to do something. Like non-stop. You feel like you need to do actions, otherwise nothing will happen in your life. And this is a mistake. If you feel like this, if you feel energy, you don't really have to. You do this out of enjoyment, out of you just try something, you have the energy to create. Don't do it because you have the right, you will not survive. So this is what the masculine. Okay, I'm here. If you have any questions about the chakra, I'm happy to answer to it. I hope I made it clear. Send it to whoever wants to become wealthy. Let's become wealthy all together. And I will see you on Thursday at the same time. We will be discussing something else. Something I think either making a man fighter or getting married